Let's talk about sidechain. In essence, the concept is actually pretty simple. You take the audio from one source and you use it to trigger an effect on another source. Let's look at probably the most common example. We've got this huge synth and we want it to drop out when the kick hits. So what we're going to do is add a really aggressive compressor to the synth track and then sidechain it to the kick. So the synth track is actually still the thing that's being compressed, but the kick is triggering when the compression happens and how much it happens by. Sidechain compression is a really popular technique in a lot of genres. But what if we reverse this technique and use a gate instead of a compressor? A gate reduces all the volume of a track until it's triggered. So essentially we can use the kick to trigger when we can hear the synth track. Here's what that sounds like when we give the gate a really quick attack and release. So then, what does it sound like if we make the release longer? You're probably starting to notice how many rhythmic applications there are to sidechaining. And here's the thing, we don't need to be hearing the sound that's triggering the sidechain in order to use it. If I sidechain the gate to a muted audio track, we have a lot more freedom to play with the rhythm. Here I'm using the same kick sample, but on the muted track playing triplets. So this is using the trigger kind of like an LFO, but there's a lot more we could do. We could make the dummy trigger a lot more asymmetrical and interesting. So get this, since we can't actually hear this track that's triggering the sidechain, we can pretty much use whatever sound we want. If I were to use, let's say, just white noise, I would have really exact control of when the sidechaining gets triggered. You could accomplish a similar effect to this in a lot of different ways, but using sidechain kind of influences the way that you create. There's things you'll come up with when you're just playing around with sidechains that you would have never thought of otherwise. I highly recommend that you try this out for yourself. Thanks for watching.